Welcome to sewing class. This is Annette Julie, and we are working on darning and patching samples. Please watch my video on how to prepare your muslin for darning and patching. And we are on darning a large hole. So you need your wax, your hand sewing needles and your thread, your rulers, and you're going to need your swatch. This is a 5-inch width by 10-inch length. You can use a different one, but this is what we're using. Go ahead and fold this on the lengthwise grain. Fold it on the cross grain, and you can find the middle. There we go. So go ahead and grab something to write with. And right in the middle here, we can make ourselves a hole, not as small as the darning a small hole. I'm going to make this one about 1/2 inch, and I centered it. We're going to go ahead and cut that hole, but then we're going to end up sewing around it with a border of 1/2 inch. So we'll go ahead and draw your border. And this would be like reweaving of a lapel of a woven coat. Like a wool coat where the moth ate some threads out. We would use this activity. So go ahead, if you need to, you can grab a pin and secure the sides. And let's take your fabric scissor and cut out our little hole here. It could be a square, it could be a circle, it could be a triangle, it could be a rectangle, it could be any of those. I've just made something close to a square. Okay, there's our hole. So we're going to take our thread, and I've threaded the needle, and I have this double ply, and I'm going to wax this. I can do a tailor's knot, or I can just tie a couple of knots right at the end. We'll trim that nice and close. And we're going to have to prepare thread a few times while we're sewing this. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start in one of our corners. And we're going to make a border. And you can go in and out 1/8 inch or less. And you can catch many stitches on your needle. And this is a running stitch where our needle goes in and out and in and out. And we're just making a little border right now. So we can pull this through. See that we're creating a little border. Let's get this back in. And let's see how many stitches you can get on your needle that are 1/8 inch or less. Try to make them the same length, if at all possible. That's when it looks the best. Mine aren't always perfect, but I try. we'll pull that through. Make sure that's nice and flat and the back doesn't have any puckers or loops. So now we're going to continue on one of the sides here, and I'm going to again catch as many stitches as I can on my needle. Before pulling the thread through. Okay, we can pull that through now. And we'll continue on. There we go. Continuing on our border. Making a nice frame. Let's see if we can get all the way to the other side this time with all your stitches on your needle. Awesome. Just pull that through. We've almost completed our border, and then we can do the stitches that go up and down and then the stitches that go across, and we'll fill this in so that we don't see any blank space. Let's go ahead and see how many stitches we can get on our needle on this side. In and out, 1/8 of an inch or less. We're almost to the end. And there we go. We can pull that through. We want to make sure nothing is puckered though, so we have to spend some time flattening it out. Make sure that we haven't gathered things, especially our border, just to start. Okay, let's go ahead and tie a knot. Okay, now, if I had enough thread, I don't need to tie a knot. But I told you guys that I was going to do this a couple times. Prepare my thread multiple times. So now I don't have enough. I'm going to go ahead and unthread. And we'll get another yard of thread to start with. And we're going to wax it. Let's go ahead and thread our needle. Get some more wax right there on the end. Pull it so it's 2-ply. Grab those 2 ends of the thread legs. Tie yourself a couple of knots. Let's trim close. And now we'll start the up and down. So basically we're mimicking the same stitch that we just did. We're doing our running stitch, and we're going in and out 1/8 of an inch or less. You're getting as many stitches as you can on the needle and still make them all matching. And then once we get to the other side, we'll pull through our thread. But then of course, we've got to get that to be nice and flat. And we can come over and repeat the same stitches, going up and down our lengthwise grain. So this stitch takes a while, and we're trying to reweave the thread back in so it looks like there's no hole. So even when you get over to the hole, you need to be stitching. And the second time you go in and out with the thread going the crosswise direction, you are reweaving through that hole. There we go. Let's make sure that's nice and flat. Go over a little 1/16 of an inch or so, and now we'll reweave back down the other direction. Let's see how many stitches we can again get on our needle. And we're doing parallel stitches to the ones that we just made. We're almost to the end again. And pull your needle through. And pull your needle through. Make sure it's nice and flat, no puckers. Let's go back the opposite direction. Starting at our border. Almost at the other side, and pull that needle through. Go down another 1/16 of an inch or so, and let's make her stitches all the way across. There we go, all the way to the other side. Make sure it's nice and flat. Go down that 1/16 of an inch. Let's get those stitches. The closer I get to the hole, the more wobbly the thread is. So if you need to pull through half the stitches and then continue on, you may. Here we are, close to the other side, and pull the rest of the stitches through. Also too, look, I formed a few knots. It's probably time to re-wax my thread. Okay, let's get some more wax on there. The more we sew, the more the wax comes off. So we have to get some more wax on. Help prevent any kind of knots. Let's continue on. Getting our stitches on the needle. Up another 1/16 of an inch. Now we're getting very close to the edge of the hole. Right now, I don't have anything to stitch, so I sort of have